YouTube babies. So Pacers are up 2-1. I'm pretty happy. It's gonna be the same thing like the old Cavs series. They have to lose one at home, and we're gonna win the next two.
Yeah, I mean, New York fans seem pretty terrible, so
Yeah, they really do.
you know.
I felt that way for a while. After they booed Kristaps when they got him at the draft, I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are just the worst. And then they booed I think his name was Kevin Knox when they drafted him. I'm like, this is like an 18-year-old kid, and you're booing him right from the jump.
Mhm.
Guys, be a little bit classier. Come on.
They can't.
Yeah.
Throwing that trash can on the guy in the Halliburton jersey, it's like,
Right.
okay, well, you guys are just setting yourselves up to lose.
I had told Dad at the start of the playoffs, and I'm kind of regretting it now because I really do think they're going to make the finals. I was like, Dad, Pacers make the finals this year. You and me have to go to one of the games. And now I'm like, oh shit. Me and him might have to go to one of these games. And it's like, and I looked just for the prices of them versus New York in the shittiest seats I could find. And this is like the cheapest price I could find. Before taxes and stuff, it would be 297 a person.
Okay. Not as bad as I was expecting.
I mean, it's not as
It
bad as like,
sucks. It
yeah,
sucks, but I
like,
was expecting like 500.
well, like I guess I mean, this is Madison Square Garden prices, but I guess with them, it's like you can't really get in under $800.
I'm not surprised, dude. And you look at all those fucking celebrities. Will you fucking look at this cat right
Yeah,
now?
it's he's probably in heaven with all the boxes.
Yeah, he uses them as stairs and then jumps
Yeah.
up into the. He's just gonna knock a bunch of shit over. Anyway, you see all the celebrities and stuff, and it's like that probably doesn't help. You know what I
No,
mean?
it
Not
can't.
getting, tons of celebrities at home Pacer games.
Though we had, I guess they had Timothy Chalamet there. Also, he traveled with the team.
He,
That's like gonna
he
be the
loves
one.
his team.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one plus side is whenever the snooze. I don't want to restart my computer right now. That's gonna be the one plus side. Like when it's if it's the Pacers versus OKC. Yeah, what's the local OKC celebrity and local Indianapolis celebrity are they gonna get?
Caitlin Clark,
Yeah. And Chris Paul, he was at one of the OKC games.
right?
Dude, we were talking about shitty trades after that Luka trade. I kind of forgot about it, but this was one of the worst ones. The Paul George at the Clippers trade. Because you remember that thing? It was like they traded Shea Gilgeous plus like 7 or 8 draft picks, I think total. I think they're still giving their draft picks to OKC. And the Clippers, I think, got out like never got out of the second round.
Right. What do they call him? Is it like playoff Paul or something like that, or playoff P?
Pandemic P. That was what he was
Pandemic
during the bubble.
P. Yeah. It's podcast P.
Yeah.
It's just funny. What are you
That's
what are we
what
thinking on the other side though?
I mean. That one, I'm still like, I'm like, I think it's gonna be OKC still. But if you told me that the Timberwolves pull something out, I wouldn't be surprised. Like it made me happy that they won this. They blew them out this last game just because people were like these podcasts, basketball podcasts to listen to. They're like, I think this series is just about over. I'm like, they haven't even played a single game in Minnesota yet, guys.
Right.
Like it's not like yeah, the way you're talking like, and especially the way they would talk like describe OKC's game. I'm like, if they were shooting threes, I would say it's over because like Rudy Gobert doesn't know how to defend the 3-point line, but since they're not, it's still anybody's game. Like Gobert, he can defend, like from the free throw line in. It's just when you get past that where he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do anymore." So
Yeah. Like you can't deny he's not good. at his job, right?
Yeah,
Like I don't think he deserved Defensive Player of the Year, 3 years in a row or whatever.
yeah,
He's a good defender, but you're totally right at that range.
yeah. It's just like he has what he can do, and it always helps. And like that's great, especially in the regular season.
Yeah,
But it's like he's always exposed in the playoffs, where it's like, yeah, you just can't take this guy as your main defensive anchor seriously in the playoffs, you know?
yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what the finals are. I still don't really care either way. I think it would be funny if the Pacers made it just because you keep hearing about small market team and blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
I'm kind of sick of it because like who cares? Who cares if a West Coast or East Coast team doesn't make it? They're still a fucking team in the league.
Yeah, but the NBA does because they want that money, money, money.
Dude, I saw a thing where like game one of the Pacers was the most watched game of the playoffs so far.
Well, I mean, New York is, probably part of the big reason
I
there.
get that, but still,
Yeah. Like, I was talking to Dad about this. I think if David Stern was still alive and the head of the NBA, 100% New York would beat the Pacers. Now I'm like, maybe not.
yeah, it'd be pretty crazy if they somehow lost this. I mean, we'll see what the refs do, but like Pacers are just playing too good.
Yeah, I mean, Thibodeau finally did coach this last game where he's like, oh, yeah. And by coach, I mean, he was like, hey, Karl Anthony Towns, play more. And Towns is like, okay. And then he actually, like, because it's like, I love Miles Turner, but he can't do shit against him.
No,
And yeah,
Towns is an absolute monster of a man.
yeah. And so it's just, he's just getting lit up. And it's just like, yeah, there's a reason why, even when he was trying to push for Defensive Player of the Year, he was never even cracking the top five in votes.
You think it would help if he bulked up any or
Yeah, I mean, you already know me. I'm like, where's the beef all the time? So I think he does need to have some type of strength. Like what he does is he does hot yoga instead. So I'm like, I don't think that's gonna help. Like Giannis will still sun you every chance he gets, you know?
yeah, I'm all for the yoga. Big fan of it myself, but it's not going to help me stop Carl Anthony Towns.
No. Like you can lift weights and do yoga. You don't have to, it's not one or the other.
Yeah. All right. Let's do our episode.
Okie dokie.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds Podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the hook hand to my Aquaman. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's up with you?
You know, hanging out. Our opener is a sad one this
Yep.
week. We've got a terrible news of the passing of Peter David, so RIP to Peter David. Um, he has written for comics and TV and novels and films and video games. Uh, the big ones are like Incredible Hulk, which he wrote for 12 years. He wrote runs on Aquaman, Young Justice, Supergirl, um, Spider-Man 2099, who he created, Captain Marvel, and then however many years on X Factor,
Two different
uh,
runs on X Factor too.
two different runs on X Factor. He did a some Star Trek. So, I mean, just all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm pretty sure I read something that like between Spider-Man 2099 and a character he created for Captain Marvel. Uh, the films around those two characters have grossed Marvel like $1.2 billion dollars.
Wow, and they couldn't even try to help him with his hospital bills.
Nope. Instead, his wife had to run a GoFundMe page on multiple occasions for people to donate to pay for his hospital bills. So thanks, Marvel. That's
Yeah,
just the kind of company they are and are continuing to be called out for. Um, yeah, it's really fucking sad. But nobody had anything bad to say about him either. All I've seen a lot of the comic people talk about him. They all said he was super funny, well loved, and just a really fucking good writer too.
yeah. It was oddly enough though, like I follow Mark Waid on the Facebook, and he was like, I never really knew him too well. And I'm like, that's insane to me because I figured they would have been working in
Yeah,
the bullpen together, So I
yeah.
thought that was pretty. He's like, I always liked his work, but I didn't really know him too well.
Well, I think, when they the cat's banging on the door to get in here, I think whenever, Peter David was in his heyday at Marvel is when, Mark Waid was doing the same thing at DC with Flash
Yeah,
and whatnot. So maybe they just weren't in the same circles at the
yeah,
time. But uh, but we'll circle back to Peter David later.
yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna complain about something if that's okay.
Absolutely.
It's about Super 7. They're not really a sponsor, so I can say this stuff. So, like a couple weeks ago, this has probably been 3 or 4 weeks now, maybe even longer. They were like, "Hey guys, just so you know, everything in our store, we're adding a tariff surcharge to it at 8%." It's like, well, what about the stuff that's been in America this whole time? Yep, that's getting this tariff surcharge too. So at first I'm like, oh, that's pretty shitty. And I had told my family, I was like, guys, all right, I told my parents this, and I'm like, pass this along to the other family members. Don't, like, for my birthday, don't give me anything Super 7 because this is pretty shitty on their part. I think it's bad business, and you shouldn't take advantage of people, especially at a time like this. And then like last week, the CEO posted this big thing, and he's like, thanks to the tariffs that Donald Trump is imposing on us, I've had to let go. Like, or first he was talking about how this was a record year for them, blah blah blah. Then he's like, but thanks to the tariffs, I had to let go so many hardworking people. It's like, brother, first off, this was a record year, what did you do that lost all this money that you then had to like let these people go? Because normally, if it's a record year, you can be like, well, I can absorb some of these losses that aren't going to be that long, and then do this. It's like it's honestly you were planning these cutoffs from the beginning, and now you're just trying to use the tariffs as a scapegoat, which is like good on you, but holy crap, don't be like crying about it while you do it because it's clear what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it's pretty shitty on your guys' part, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Like,
But
but don't
hey,
worry, guys, we're gonna raise our prices even more.
and if you still feel like buying some from Super 7, use
Yeah,
code.
use our code, please.
Oh man. Unfortunately, it has hit me at this point because I haven't been able to order modern size bags and boards
Oh,
for the
damn.
shop. I was able to get some cases of Silver Age, which I'm hoping will last me until uh, I can get some modern back in or something.
And where do you, because you can't order, I'm assuming you can't order that from Diamond. So where do you get that stuff from? Like, do you just have a
I've got
bag
a
person?
No, they're well, yeah, they're called Southern Hobby.
Okay.
They just do bags, boards, boxes, and uh they do like a bunch of gaming stuff too. They do card game, trading card games and stuff like that. So,
Nice.
but anyway. But hey man, it's just the art of the deal. It's the art of
Yeah.
the deal,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's
Like, we
it's it's a
just
good
gotta,
thing. It's a
yeah,
good thing.
you gotta be passing this on to the people. Even the stuff. that's not affected by it. Like your 25-cent comics are now a dollar comic, okay, Jake? Be
Yep.
like, it's the tariffs.
It's the tariffs. I mean, they've been sitting in my boxes for decades, but what can you do?
Like, guys, it's not my fault. Blame China and Trump.
So true. So true.
That was like one of the funniest fucking things I had seen. It was this like because partially because it just like hit home to me. It was like when we're on the way home and I already broke the toy my mom bought me. It's like don't blame me, blame China.
How many times did you do that as a kid?
Honestly, never. Like that was never that. I was never that bad. Like the worst I can remember is one time I got a Stretch Armstrong. And it was a like frosty Stretch Armstrong. And I pull him out and I go to stretch his arms and his arms just broke like as I stretched. Which I'm like, what? This isn't supposed to do this. Like this is just one thing is he stretches. And so we took him back and I think I got like a superhero toy instead because they didn't have any
Nice.
more of them.
They're flying off the
Yeah.
shelves and straight into the garbage can. All right. News time, baby. You go first, man.
All right, so pull. I had it up and then my phone closed. So we got some fun little couple little rumors about the new upcoming brand new day Spider-Man movie. We got the some leakage for what the villains are gonna be. So it's Tombstone, Scorpion, and Boomerang. And so I mean that could be fun. Talking about it's gonna be like this fun street level type fight and crime and all this type of stuff. But then they're also like it also is gonna be maybe multiversal because the girl from Stranger Things is gonna play Mayday Parker. So
Okay.
it's like oh yeah, Sony and Marvel they don't really know what the hell they're doing yet.
Right. But I've been waiting for Scorpion to show up for years, so that's
Yeah.
exciting for me.
I mean I'm hoping he looks cool. Like I kind of hope it's like a cross between like his updated costume that he got, like I think it was the start of the Dan Slott run, and like his original costume, something in between those two. Because like his original costume's like kind of cool, but it's also kind of like of the times, you know? And that other one's pretty sweet, but it's like I don't want it full Robo, which I think it's gonna be. You know what I
I
mean?
think it will be. I think it'll just be like a Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, but just one of them.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so A24, which I know has made popular movies, I couldn't name one right now,
yeah,
uh, is doing a live action Elden Ring movie that was announced a few days ago. It's been rumored for a little bit, but I think it's Bandai Namco maybe posted the official release this week. So I want to be really excited for that. I don't really know. It's not going to make people happy because there's like it's an RPG. There's a million different characters you
yeah.
can make. So whichever one they go with is going to piss off most people probably.
I'm calling it now. They're gonna get the dude that directed the Resident Evil and the Monster Hunter movie, and he's just gonna have Mila Jovovich, his wife, be the main character, like he does in all of his movies. And he's like, and she's just gonna kick everybody's ass. She'll be new character I made up called my wife, and she's just gonna win.
And you know what? I would watch it and love it,
Yeah,
but
like I was listening to this podcast where they're talking about his Monster Hunter movie, and it's just like, yeah, this is just a guy who like he is his wife's biggest fan, and like he's just like, yeah, she's just the coolest, and like it's like, yeah, we aren't disagreeing with you, but this isn't what we wanted.
yeah, the testing room boys were talking about that movie and how it's definitely not a Monster Hunter movie at all, just in
Yeah.
name. So, but yeah,
Oh,
I still want to be excited for it. I want to see that world, I guess, in live action. It's just like, is the story going to be worth a fuck? Is all.
yeah. I mean, they're getting better about those video game movies and stuff, so let's hope
Hmm.
so.
Yeah.
All right. So Marvel has delayed the next two Avenger films. I don't remember when they were originally supposed to come out, but apparently they've been pushed back. Doomsday's been pushed back to December 18th, 2026, which I guess it's pretty close to Dune. So now people are talking about doing Dune and Avengers Doomsday together, calling it Doomsday, very much like Barbenheimer. And then Secret
But
Wars
nothing's
is
gonna
just
top that name.
no. The Secret Wars is December 17th, 2027.
I saw
So,
that too, and I'm like, guys, one of them will change it. They do not want to compete with each other, I promise.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be also though December. It's like
hmm
those will be the only two movies out really
Yeah,
that people are excited about. So,
yeah, for sure. All right. My last bit of news. Penguin Random House has pulled Marvel Dark Horse IDW from Diamond. Diamond can no longer sub-distribute those. So it's if you're shopping and you want those titles, you have to have a PRH account now,
wow.
which is kind of crazy, but also not that surprising.
Hmm.
They just don't want to fucking deal with it anymore, and I don't blame them.
No, I mean, I get it from the way you talk about Diamond. It's sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm just like that's got to be the nail, like the final nail in the coffin, though, you'd think.
Yeah, I don't see how they make it out of this. The people that bought them has already shut down some divisions, so it's like, can they really keep the comics going at this point when all they
Right.
have is Dynamite? And I'm really fucking hoping that that changes soon. It's like, come on, Dynamite, please go to Lunar or
Right.
PRH. Um, but who knows? Who knows that they'll either get shut down or maybe Ad Populum just likes something about the system that they don't like. We know they suck at their job, but like the system's there. They just don't do it,
Hmm.
right? So maybe that's what they wanted. Who knows?
Now, not to get too inside baseball, but how is Penguin, now that you've had Penguin Random House for like a hot minute, how is it? Like, are you like,
Yeah, it's
just like,
good. It's really
okay,
good.
okay. Is it as good as Lunar?
No,
Okay.
I mean they're not. The way they do things isn't too different. Obviously, I like Lunar's invoicing better, and I like how they send stuff better. But uh, the Penguin stuff always comes early, and the stuff shows up in better shape than it did
Good.
way back when they first started doing Marvel stuff. So they're making the improvements, which is good to know because they could easily turn into another Diamond where they don't have to care because
Yeah.
it's fucking Penguin Random House and they're an empire. But
Hmm.
so far, so good.
Good, man. Well,
I think the biggest thing is that books show up on time, and that's what's most
that's
important.
100%, dude. But what'd you read this week?
I read New Gods, number 6, Batman and Robin, year 1, number 7, World's Finest, 39, Zatanna, number 4, Incredible Hulk, 25, Nightwing, 126, DC Sonic the Hedgehog, number 3, Superman Unlimited, number 1, and Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, number 8.
Nice. I read The Thing, #1. Mothra, Queen of the Monsters, issue 3. Titans, issue 23. The New Gods, issue 6. World's Finest, issue 39. The Incredible Hulk, 25. Batman Robin, year 1, 7. And Zatanna, issue 4. I think you got one more than me.
Okay. I'll start off with Moon Knight. I got the Alex Ross cover. It's very
Ooh,
good.
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's written by Jed McKay with art by Dev Malia Promanik. And so at the end of the last issue, he got stabbed by Carver with her magic sword. So he is dead and he's like trapped inside the sword. His soul is. And the sword soul thing is that it collects souls. And so Mark's like, well, my soul is already spoken for. by Khonshu, so you have to talk to him about it. So Khonshu like swoops in, and we get this cool splash page where Khonshu's like talking to the dragon, who is you know, the main soul within the sword. And yeah, that kind of breaks Mark free of the curse, as well as Carver, who was using the sword. She had to because she was under the sword's control. And he's like, okay, well, now the sword's under my control. And now, Carver, you're going to tell me how to kill Fairchild, who is the Asgardian drug dealer. So it was pretty cool. I mean, it was definitely like a filler issue, but it's a filler issue that got him this cool new weapon. And I'm excited to see where it goes next. So I'm going to give it probably an 8.5.
Nice. Okay, so the thing. This is thing issue one. I should have pulled up where exactly the writing it, the names and stuff is. It's Tony Fleeks and Justin Mason on the art. It's okay. Ben Grimm's like he seems to be like a little weakened up a little bit, and he gets asked to do a job when he just got done. Like he just gets home from a long day of working at the Fantastic Four, and you know he's investigating some stuff, and then it ends with Kingpin putting a bounty on his head. So yeah, I mean it's fine. It was like I said, perfectly fine, kind of forgettable comic. I'll still check out the next one because I do love that old thing,
You
but
do. You'll read any of them.
I wouldn't go that far. But but I do like them. I'm probably gonna be at 6.5 though.
Okay. Superman Unlimited #1 by Dan Slott and Raphael Albuquerque. Yeah, it was perfectly fine. It's like a very quick, um, just like summary of Superman's life, kind of. Um, where was okay, and then when it gets to like what's currently happening, there's like this huge asteroid coming for Earth, and Superman flies up to save it. And when he gets up there, he realizes that like the whole thing is made of kryptonite. And there's a big explosion, and he wakes up in like the hospital wing of the watchtower. And there was a all that to say there was a really neat like two panel thing where Pa and Clark walk in, and then you see Clark turn into Martian Manhunter, and I guess they had Manhunter uh just doing Clark's job at the planet and stuff while he was out for a couple months, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Um, yeah, anyway, some like city is now like after that explosion, some city is down on Earth, and they're like manufacturing kryptonite, and which is doing a number on the super people and whatnot. And then at the end, I don't know, we find out Superman survived because and then it shows him he's like fully gold plated. So I don't really know what that means yet. But anyway, pretty interesting. I'm curious to see what this kryptonite manufacturing shit is. And I'm more interested in how Dan Slott writes Superman when it's not like a recap of stuff we already know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was fine. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'll at least check out issue 2.
Right on, man. I was on the fence about it, but I was like, I just
You wouldn't have
don't.
been upset, but it wasn't going to knock your socks off.
Yeah. How much was it?
It's a thicker boy and surprisingly only $5.
Oh, okay. Is it worth the $5?
I'll say yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this right now. Mothra, Queen of the Monsters by Sophie Campbell and Matt Frank, not worth $5. But the art's like it's Matt Frank's art, so it's like, oh yeah, the monster looks pretty good. The
Yeah,
people all kind of look mediocre and the same. Like it's just like, yeah, if you
it's
like
not
that,
bad.
it's not bad, but it's also like you can't tell anybody apart.
True.
He has this style, but we do get the stupidest thing that I love. Mecha Mothra?
Oh shit, that's cool.
Because time travel. Like that's all it boils down to. It's this book's not really good. Like I said, the art's pretty mediocre, and then Matt Frank's art's just pretty, yeah, mediocre, and then actual storyline stuff is just kind of dumb time travel shit. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go with a 4.5. It's even the rating is even less than what it was charged at.
All right. DC Sonic #3 by Ian Flynn and Adam Bryce Thomas. I'll show you the cover. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
And essentially, like they're on the watchtower, and Mr. Terrific's kind of, you know, being the hub for everything. And they all decide that since the Justice League gave their lives to protect their planet, they'll do the same. So they all go out and all have a page or two where they're, Silver's like Green Lantern, so he fights Sinestro and just like silly stuff like that. But it turns out that all the villains that they're fighting each have a Chaos Emerald. So uh, as they beat all these villains, they gather them and decide that they can use those six to find the seventh, which is the one the dark side has. So it is pretty cool. I like how Ian Flynn writes all the DC characters. Like Joker is pretty funny and stuff. There was something that I wanted to mention, and now I can't find what it is. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, next we'll see what happens with Darkseid and the Leaguers because it ends with like a Chaos Emerald boom tube opening up to wherever that location is. So I like this book a lot. I think it gets a little bit better with each issue, and it's a really fun time. So probably gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Nice, man. I bet you the sequel series when they do the second one in a couple year or two is gonna be even more wild. Just move it like because like that's how like all
Yeah.
of them seem to be. It's like, oh yeah, you like the little bit of fan service the first time? Oh, just wait.
I know. I'm waiting for like Robotnik to be, I don't know, like have Omega beams or something shoot out of his
Yeah.
mustache. Who knows?
Dude, that'd be awesome. Okay, so Titans issue 23 by John Layman and Pete Woods on the art. The other, you're kind of getting some more of this new character that I guess they introduced a little while ago. She's basically like an Amazo, but for the Titans, but they turned her good because the last time this group of characters turned a robot good, Indigo, that turned out so well for those that have read Outsiders. But so yeah, she fights this group and she's a little OP. It's not gonna end well, I don't think. And Deathstroke's still planning things and stuff, and then we get the some like Tara's showing back up, like she helped Deathstroke get out of his little thing. And just the way Layman's writing her, I can already tell I'm gonna hate her. Like, which I mean, she's supposed to be a bad guy, so it makes sense. But I'm just like, man, it's it's gonna be annoying as hell, I think. But this is a fine issue. It's just like a lot of this new character talking about her and how they can't trust her, and then they're like, well, maybe we can. Then it's like, oh, she's OP as hell. She's not gonna live through this arc, I don't think, or she's gonna get her powers drastically cut because there's just no way. So I'm at like a 7 for it. Like it's fine, and if you like the characters, you should probably check it out. It's not doing anything like crazy, but it's like I said, it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we just got our Mewtwo's, right?
I've got Nightwing.
Oh shit. Okay.
Nightwing 126 by Dan Waters and uh, Francesca Francavilla. Uh, so yeah, it turns out this is like a little two-issue thing, so this is part two of that, but it's actually really, really good stuff. And Nightwing is kind of barely in it. It's mostly about like the police commissioner and her girlfriend and like meeting her girlfriend's kid for the first time and like how that kid feels about the robot police bots that are patrolling the town and stuff like that and how it scares her. It's pretty good with just people feelings, I guess. And then you know, they find who they think is this cop killer. And at the end, you see somebody being let into the evidence room to pick up the mask again. So they're not done with that. Whether it's like in Dan Waters' run or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was just pretty good stuff. There are some panels where you could tell Frankavilla took his time, and there are others where you can tell that he rushed. And this one is just I gotta show you because it's so bad. We're both huge fans, but
Yeah, that's not good.
just pretty rough. But it is what it is. Most of it's very good. So yeah, it was a really solid two-part filler, and I'm glad that Frankavilla was on it. So gonna give it probably an 8.
Nice. Now, what order do you want to do these last books in, man?
Um, let's just go Hulk, Zatanna, World's Finest, Batman and Robin, New Gods.
Okie dokie. Man, we could have had it more different this time. All right, so The Incredible Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And find the artist. I should have had it opened up before I started
It's
talking,
Nick
but it's Nick
Klein.
Klein on the art. And so, I mean, you're the Thor boy here. What'd you think, man?
Uh, I thought it was really dope, honestly.
Yeah,
You know, I think an argument could be made that Thor was hasty, but it's just I've read so many books where he is like given an evil Asgardian creature the benefit of the doubt and it's bit him in the ass. So I don't mind that this time he's just like, I'm not fucking falling for it. We're going to Asgard.
yep. No, like I really loved it. My only real downside with it was the ending because it's just like then they're like, well, maybe she isn't too bad. Maybe, and then they're like, oh, okay, well then help her. Like, nah. Like, oh, we're just gonna leave. Like,
Yep.
okay. Other than that, it was awesome. What'd you think about the part where Hulk grabbed the hammer as he's sending it back, like as he's bringing it to him? I was like, I don't know how Jake would feel about this part.
Yeah. Well, when it first happened, I was like, if he's just holding on to it, I'm going to be fine with it. And then that's what happened. But I was like, if he can fucking stop it or turn it or anything, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah,
Um, but the fight was cool. Nick Klein's art is so fucking good. And I'm pretty interested in how Winter Soldier is going to play into this.
yeah, same here. And yeah, I mean, it's just this was a fun time. This is kind of like more of what you want from a Hulk book, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, this is good, some good stuff.
Hmm.
It's also kind of like what you want from a Hulk Thor fight. Just two fucking meatheads pounding the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, Thor, or not Thor, Hulk brings like a sunken ship out of the ocean and smacks Thor with it. It's fucking
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's like after Thor, like, I mean, Thor was being kind of a jerk, but like, he was
Sure.
also like, I'm gonna put you away from the fight. I'll take care of the girl. And Hulk's like, the fuck you will.
Yeah. And also like, when the Warriors 3 and Sif showed up, I was like, look, Hulk's strong, but this shouldn't be too much of a problem for that group.
Yeah.
And then, obviously at that point it was pretty much the end. But no, it was really good. And like the wraparound cover is just killer too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm honestly like a 9.5 for this. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I'm at a 9. If it wasn't for the ending, and we didn't get to talk about the last issue really, for some reason, but it annoyed the crap out of me that Clea kind of got the shaft in the last issue, you know? It's like there is no way she's that weak. Get out of here with that nonsense.
I know. I just wanted more of her anyways because I think
Yeah,
she's cool.
but yeah, it's like I said, it's probably a 9 for me. It's really fun. Highly recommend it. I'm waiting for Wolverine to have his issue with, because it's like that's kind of the huh?
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, because like that's kind of like the trifecta. Like we need to get the Thing in there and Wolverine after since Thor's already happened.
Yep. Because that Nick Klein is going to draw that to be a brutal fight.
Hell yeah.
All right. Satana number 4 by Jamal Campbell. It's yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I don't love it as much as I wanted to love it, but I'm also like not upset by anything. I think it's just like a little bit better than okay.
See, I think I'm still reeling from the other Zatanna book that we had. And I'm like, dude, I'm loving this. This is so like it's fun, it's cool. Zatanna's just a total badass in it.
Hmm.
I feel like it's pretty obvious that the bad girl's gonna turn on the bad guy. And like that's just gonna be one of the things that happens. But
Yep.
at least Zatanna doesn't have daddy issues,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
she's not like randomly in love with like just totally head over heels in love with Constantine for no reason.
Yeah. Plus, I do like that they keep the Blue Devil wasn't just a one issue thing. I
Yeah,
like that he's a part of it.
I know I've said it before, but man, you really need to read the Shadow Pack comic.
I know. I was able to find volume 1 of the trade for pretty cheap secondhand, so
Now,
just gotta read it.
dumb question. Is that where it's like the Spirit of Vengeance tie-in one? Because that's all I've read was the Spirit of Vengeance tie-in, and then they gave him a series after that.
I think it's the series. It
Okay.
says like, spinning out of vengeance or whatever, but
Yeah, because like it was pretty neat because it was like they were the losers that didn't have that much magic power when Spectre was going killing all the magic users. And so like they were the ones that had to then stop the Spectre host and stuff, and it's pretty dope.
yeah,
Okay, World's Finest. This is by issue 39 by Mark Wade. And every time, every time, Casey, why don't you just do your research?
it's Clayton
Um,
Henry.
Old Clayton Henry on the art. This was a fun issue, but it's just kind of like it's fun. That's about all I can really say about it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like art is solid. I really like the colors. It's timey-wimey as the Whovians say. Uh the part with Alfred I thought was really good. But yeah, I mean it's just like a fun, silly crossover. So
Yeah, and I like the part with where Scarecrow is messing with Superman, and he's like, "Oh, the death of Superman." And it's like, "Oh yeah, Superman doesn't give a shit about that."
yeah.
I was like, "Okay, that's pretty cool." Curious how this goes though, because I'm like, I don't know. Like this was a really interesting thing, and then they started doing the time travel stuff. I'm like, you guys are kind of losing me a little bit with this whole stuff now. I don't want, two different sets of Batman and Robin and Superman, you know? So
Yeah, I
we'll
agree.
see how it goes. So I'm probably at like an 8 for it. Like it's still a good book and people would enjoy it, but it's also like it doesn't really do much for me outside
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7. It's fine. Like I'm gonna keep reading it because it's part of Justice League and there's no reason not to.
Mhm.
Okay, Batman and Robin Year One, also by Mark Waid with art by Chris Samney. This was very good, I think.
Mhm.
I think that I know a lot of it's towards the end, but we get to see Dick be pretty clever and how he deals with the child services lady. And I really liked, the Two-Face, Clayface stuff as well. Thought that was
Yeah.
pretty awesome. So, uh, just a solid book. And I mean, the art couldn't be better.
Right. Yeah, no, and like this is one of the cool things too. It's like we don't get a lot of good Two-Face related stuff that's not his origins. I've said that a lot. This is well-written Two-Face stuff, at
Yeah,
least. And then there's other kind of neat stuff with the mob bosses and that type of stuff that's going on. I like it. Mark Waid, like his current, like the stuff that takes place in the current continuity, it's fine, but this stuff, like this type of stuff, it's just better. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna give this probably a 9 out of 10. I've been enjoying this a whole bunch.
it's a 9 for me as well.
Okay, and then lastly, it's The Old New Gods by, you know, guy that we both enjoy, Ram B. And then trying to find the other creators. Just trying to, just talk
It's
and
Felipe Andrade and Evan Cagle.
there we go. Um, I have a feeling you like this more than me, this issue. What'd you think, man? How much
Yeah,
on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love it?
I think
Not
it's
your actual
another.
rating, but
Yeah. No, I mean, it's up there. I'll say that. I mean, the Black Racer stuff was kind of trippy and weird, but I feel like adds a lot of depth to that character. Because before it was just like, ooh, you can't outrun him, but
hmm
now it's like showing you why he is essentially death. And him telling Light Ray, I don't get to decide who gets to go back or not. I'm just the one that takes you to the light at the end of the tunnel to the source wall and the source decides. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then, the stuff with the Superman and the League, I thought was super cool. I think Evan Cagle's art is just chef's kiss, just to die for.
Yep.
Um, And I really just can't wait for what happens next. I feel like we got through 80% of the issue, and then we got to what happened at the end of last issue is Superman
Yeah.
showing up. And then it's
100%.
like, next time. It's like, no, I
Yeah.
want what
It's
happens
like
now.
that's my problem with this issue and like a lot of the series as a whole. A lot of the stuff where it's I mean, I know it's called the New Gods, but a lot of the stuff where it's like the New Gods world building, I'm like, okay, it's like that's like bread, and then we get the stuff with Mr. Miracle, and like that's the steak, and it's always like, there's not much steak here, guys. I want more.
But dude, I like the world building stuff a lot.
I know, I
I
I know
do.
you would. So like that's what because you love
It's
these characters a lot more than I do.
true. It's just taken everything Kirby did and given it some more meat on the bones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all about it. I thought it was really good. The
So
the
where you at
one
with it?
thing, the one thing it's like that I thought was goofy. It's like, oh, Diana and Artemis and the Themyscirians are carving runes into the earth to catch falling debris. And Green Arrow with his anti-grav arrows. It's like,
Yeah.
does he have to be here?
It's like this is what happened. Like Superman was like telling them what was going on, and he just didn't know the Green Arrow was there. They're like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
man, we need you with those arrows you have.
yeah, that's really what it feels like because it's just silly. Uh, but that, I mean, that's not even like a gripe because Green Arrow, of course, is going to be involved in some way. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, it's probably a 9.5 for me and pick of the week for sure.
And I'm like this is where we're so off because it's like, man, I just wanted, like I said, I wanted more of the steak and less of the bread. So for me, it's probably like a 6.5.
Ooh, that's low.
I know. I mean, it's just like I just don't really care about the black racer too much, and this didn't make me care more.
Yeah.
But what are you excited about, dude?
I'm gonna go with Magic, Absolute Wonder Woman, and a book that I hope is cool that I mostly just got for me, but it's called The Pale Knight. Uh, it's just like a fantasy comic that sounded cool.
Nice. So for me, I'm gonna say G.I. Joe. Um, it's not a lot out this week that I'm like super pumped about. Um, G.I. Joe's the main one. Then I guess I'll just say Justice League Unlimited, and I'm gonna say Batman just to see if it's as like this next issue's as shitty as that last one was, because that last one was impressively bad.
Yeah. Actually, I think there's a lot of good stuff out this week. We got Green Lantern, which we both like.
Yeah.
Minor Arcana, which I am a bigger fan of than you. And what was it? Oh, Absolute Manhunter, I think is solid. Then there's Uncanny. So there's a lot of stuff for Jake this week. I
Yeah.
hope that it's all solid.
You gonna check out What If Donald Duck Became Iron Man?
No.
It's like Donald Duck has a real bad drinking problem.
One thing that I am thinking about checking out is that Mr. Terrific Year One, just
Yeah.
because it's like a character that I would like to know more about.
Yeah.
So
I get that. The only problem is it's like that artist that they got for it. For me, he's really hit and miss. Like sometimes I'm like, I actually enjoyed this. Other times I'm like, this is pretty clunky, bud.
the stuff in the back of the issues this week I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So Fantastic Four time. Four favorite Peter David works that you've done, that he's done that you've read and you can talk about.
Sure. The first two are two that I read a long time ago. The first one is Future Imperfect. It was two issues, two like oversized issues, and they came into the shop probably a good 8 years ago. And Casey and other people always talked about how good that stuff was. So I read those two issues, and it wasn't the most new reader friendly stuff, but the fights were awesome. Maestro was awesome. And I was like, okay, I get why people like his whole stuff. And then Aquaman, also quite some time since I've read it, but he did a run of Aquaman in the 90s, gave Aquaman the hook hand, and just kind of made him a lot cooler than he was, in my opinion. And I remember liking those stories a lot. Uh, then he did this book called How to Write Comics with Peter David, or I think it's like How to Write Comics and Graphic Novels, but it's just Peter David giving you, tips and telling you how to write scripts for comic books. And I just like how it was written. I've still got it in one of these boxes somewhere, but it's a good read if you're interested in writing comics. And my very favorite stuff by Peter David. I am a big fan of the Fable video games, and Peter David wrote two novels and three or four short stories. And I like all of it, but the best one is the one he did for Jack of Blades, um, which I will reread like every other year just because it's super short. But uh, Jack of Blades is one of my favorite video game villains, and that was kind of uh, I won't say an origin story, but just like an early look at Jack of Blades stuff. So there you go.
And for me, I'd go with so recently he did the it was like just brought back stuff for the Gray Hulk. I always thought the Gray Hulk was really cool, and then it had Spider-Man in it too. So Peter David writing Spider-Man and Gray Hulk, a lot of fun. His Hulk run in general, like I've read bits and pieces of it throughout the years. Like when I first started getting comics in the mail, that I was getting like the end of his Hulk run because that thing ran for 12 years. But then like I've read other issues just, going back to him and stuff. I'm pretty sure he was the one that introduced the yeah, he was. 'Cause so when I first started getting it, it's like it started like one of the earliest issues was like Wolverine fighting Hulk and then beating Hulk and then carrying him to the X Mansion. Everyone's like, "Hey, don't do that. He's gonna destroy the X Mansion." Sure enough, he does. And then after that, Apocalypse gets him and he puts the war suit on him. So you get that. And like the next issue is like Absorbing Man and Juggernaut fighting War Hulk. It's pretty fucking cool shit.
Sounds
And
like it.
and so like that and then Young Justice. I'd always read Nick's old issues of that when I got the chance. And that was just a fun time. And then like my favorite though, this is another one that Nick turned me on to was his second run of X Factor. I never really read his first one, but his second one was the one where it was like Madrox. It starts off with like Madrox being like an old-timey like noir detective, and it goes from there, and it's super cool. Like the only downside really was like he kind of it just seemed like with his world of the X Factor that they were letting him use, they're like, yeah, you can play with these toys, but if we want them back, we're taking them, and then you have to just kind of ride around it. So like there's a lot of that randomly. Like they never really needed Madrox, but like other characters throughout. But then he'd be like, well, I'll just take this one then, and then they'd be like, no, we want this one though. Like that type of stuff. It happened a lot with that run. It just seemed, but otherwise, it was still pretty darn great.
Yeah, right on. Well, that's basically the episode. So, Casey, what would you like the folks to let us know down below?
Yeah, let us know about some of your favorite Peter David related things. I have a funny Peter David story that I told Jake about it before we got on, but it made me think of like something to be on I Think You Should Leave because it was like this one writer was talking about when they were writing X-Men and it was around the same time Wolverine got his skeleton pulled out. They're trying to figure out like the next, basically what Magneto should do next. And that was what they were leading up to, but they couldn't decide like, oh, how should he retaliate? And then Peter David like in the back was like, why don't we just have him just tear out Wolverine's skeleton? Everyone just kind of looked at Peter David. He's like, I'm just kidding. And they're like, no, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Oh man. Well, hopefully Peter David's resting easy now, and we appreciate all that he did for fans in the industry. And that'll do it for this one, folks. So appreciate you hanging out with us, and we'll catch you next week. We'd love to stay and chat, but I have to make Casey's left hand way fucking cooler. So we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Worlds Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Two Worlds Pod, on Twitter at two_worlds_PC, and on Facebook at facebook.com/twoworldspodcast. You can email us with any questions or comments at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com, and if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.